Like me, I'm sure you're concerned, or have been concerned, watching recent events, in particular Paris, and the fallout that's come out from that. Various community groups lining up against one faith, in particular the Muslim community. People all over the place attacking people, right versus left. You see it on the news every night. It's bloody concerning as a trade union leader. And some of our members and some people in the community say, that's not our business, it's not union business. Our business is to get your pay and conditions right and look after your safety at work. And yeah, well, that's a part of it. It's not all what we're about. Union leaders look after unionists and the community. It's part of our charter, it's part of our objectives. We've got members, and I'm proud to say this, we've got members from every race, colour and creed, including the Muslim community. But in making this clip, what really concerns me is when we try to get a few of our Muslim members to come and stand in front of the camera and help us do this, they were too scared. And that's no reflection on them. I totally understand why they wouldn't do that. One comment in particular from one of our Muslim members, a good Muslim member, was that people at work didn't know he was a Muslim. And for that reason, he didn't want to step up because he was worried about the ramifications for him and his family. And you can only concur with that. You can imagine what the poor buggers must be going through. I've studied World War II history, I've studied world history for years, and I'm concerned about where this country's heading. We've got neo-Nazis marching on our street, and if you have a look at some of the pictures that came out of the Reclaim Australia rally the other day, you've really got to wonder about where we are heading as a country. In saying that, I don't want to denigrate everyone that turns up to these rallies. There's a lot of scared people in this country. A lot of people in this country are genuinely scared when they see the world events unfolding before their eyes on the 6 o'clock news. You can understand why they're concerned, you can understand why they're fearful. But unfortunately there's groups, neo-Nazi groups, ultra-right-wing groups in this country that are really starting to capitalise on that. And what I'm trying to say to our members and to the broader community is, it's not us, it's not our job to go and follow blindly. We need to be questioning things. I remember as a kid growing up in southern New South Wales, going to the fish and chip shop that was run by a Greek or an Italian, pretty much, across the country pretty much at that time. And I remember my father and others of his generation saying, oh, the bloody wogs are taking over this country. Well, you have a look at it now, the Italians, the community and the Greek community, what they've added to our culture. Thank Christ for that, thank Christ they came. Now have a look at the Chinese, the Vietnamese in particular, the Vietnamese, when they came out in the mid to late 70s, everyone said we're going to be awash by boat people. One famous red-headed politician stood up and said that in the Senate. I put it to anyone, have we been swamped by Asians? I don't think we have been. They've added another chapter and another great layer in our society. And now we've got Muslim refugees. We're over there bombing the living shit out of these poor buggers, especially Syria, and we're taking 10,000 refugees. To put it in perspective, Germany's taking 800,000. Now, we're the ones, our tax dollars are paying for the bombs that are bombing these poor buggers. So, as a society and as a trade unionist and as a trade union leader, you've got to sit up at some time and say, enough's enough. And after seeing some of the stuff I saw last weekend, some of the rallies across this country, the fights, people bringing weapons to protest rallies, the neo-Nazi salutes and the slurs on women that were speaking up against them, it's just got to the stage that we need to say enough's enough. And I urge every single one of you guys and ladies to watch this clip. Watch what Tony Barry's about to give you as far as history and that goes. Listen to Dennis, one of our Filipino members, a proud Filipino ETU member. Listen to Tommy Sabazio, an Indigenous leader from Bamaga. Tommy's met every single piece of racism in his lifetime and thankfully has come out of it a whole lot stronger. And he's there speaking out for us. I wish I had a Muslim member I could throw in at the end of this, but unfortunately because of the current events, that's the way things are and I don't blame them one bit. Who are we as a society? Who are we as a trade union? Who are we as workers? If we don't look after our own and look after each other's backs, who's going to do that for us? The Murdoch press? For Christ's sake, wake up. Stand up against racism.
G'day, I'm Tony Barry. The terrorist attacks in Paris on November the 13th were the bloodthirsty actions of extremists, which have been condemned worldwide for the targeting of innocent lives. While the majority of Australians express grief and support for the French people in the wake of these attacks, others have cheapened the lives of those lost by using the events in Paris to sprout hatred and prejudice.
As a community leader, the ETU condemns all forms of racism and religious prejudice, whether it be the hate-filled speech of right-wing politicians or the misguided rantings of commentators on social media.
We know all too well the aim of the extremists to take part in these attacks is to drive a wedge in society between Muslims and non-Muslims. In that case, anyone who uses these attacks to spread racial and religious prejudice is doing exactly what these terrorists want, following their orders to the letter.
These tactics are strikingly similar to those used by German fascists last century. Leading Nazi Party figure Hermann Goering said in an interview during the Nuremberg war crime trials that bringing the German people to the will of their racist logic was easy. All you have to do is tell them that they are being attacked and denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in any country, he said. Members of the ETU, like all true unionists, know it is in times of turmoil when we must pull together and reject the actions of those who attempt to destroy our way of life. Whether it be the heartless politicians selling off our public assets or cowardly racists intent on dividing our society by race and religion.
The ETU is a union for every race, colour and creed. We are community leaders and we can't sit back and let racism and division grow in our country. It's time to stand up against all form of extremism.
We call on our members to lead from the front against the extremists who aim to divide us and stand up against racism.
So I hope you got something out of that. I certainly did, putting it together, I can assure you. And meeting some of our members from different ethnic cultures that feel as strongly about this as I do. This is a time for unionists to stand up. This is time for real fair income Australians, and we say we're fair income and we actually give a rat's ass about this country and that we think we fight for the fair go. How about giving all ethnicities in this country a fair bloody go? It's about, if you think it's about extremism, there's been more people killed by the far right, skinheads, neo-Nazis in the US than any Muslims ever killed. And that's a fact. That's not just a statement on Facebook, for Christ's sake. Do a bit of research. Don't believe the bloody Murdoch press. Don't believe some of the beat-ups you've seen about this stuff. Let's go out and stand up. When you hear it at a barbecue or in your workplace or wherever you are, someone getting picked on because of the colour of their skin, their religious beliefs or whatever, stand up and be counted. We should all be linking together and fighting extremism on all sides, not just Muslim extremism, all extremism. I'll leave you with that thought, comrades. Cheers.